So I think till last class we studied up to 33 questions. So we are undergoing now short answer questions. So again the same question what we studied previously. So label the parts A, B, C, D and shows the direction of flow of electrical signals in figure number 7.2. That is what they are asking. So we all knows that what is the A part, everybody? A part.
Sensory neuron.
Yeah,
Sensory neuron.
sensory neuron. Even yesterday you might be studied, madam taught you. So B part, what is that everybody?
Spinal cord.
Spinal cord. C part,
Motor.
motor neuron. D part, effectors. So effectors only, particularly we can say what? Muscle
Muscles and glands.
muscle in arm. So now the direction if you have taken, they're asking direction also. So what is the direction? A to B, B to C, and C to D. So this is the direction of the electrical signals in the given figure. So that is also very, very important. So please, I hope you all knows this reflex arc and reflex action. So this is the example for reflex action. So basically they won't ask you to draw this diagram, but this diagram is a very important one. For many times they used to ask this question. Next, name the plant hormone responsible for the following. Elongation of cells. Everybody, elongation of cells. Auxins. Growth of a stem. Everybody,
Gibberellin.
of a stem. Gibberellin. Promotion of cell division. Everybody, cytokinin. And falling of senescent senescent leaves. Anyhow, falling of
Abscisic
leaves.
acid.
What is that? Abscisic
Abscisic acid.
acid. So I think otherwise they have given one by one question. So just makes it. Okay. So this all the acids, 4 acids is very, very important. So please make sure you have to know all the importance also. Yeah. So please write it. And what is the meaning of senescent? Means being old. So old leaves falling. Falling of old leaves, we used to call as what? Who will be taking care? Abscisic acid, ABA acid. So that is what. Next, in the given figure 7.4 ABC, this question last year board exam also, it is there. This question is there in the last year board exam. So accurate and why they are asking. So in figure ABC, which appears more accurate and why? So first we will see. I will come to the C figure. Now roots are downwards, geotropism, and stem is also in downwards. Is it geotropism? Everybody? Yes.
No, sir.
Yeah. So that is what it is. So what will happen? So actually the stem will grow towards to the light and the root has to go towards to the gravity. So that is the correct figure. So this is also not and this is also not. So what is the correct one? Everybody?
Option A.
A. So it is even a direct figure from the book also. You can see that. Yeah. So positively geotropic. Roots are growing downwards. Roots are growing downwards and stem is growing upwards. So stem is growing upwards is a negatively geotropic, or we can say positively what? Positively phototropic. Am I right or wrong? All of you? So positively phototropic, and this is what? Negatively phototropic. So we can say, what is the correct figure? Figure number A is the perfect representation. 36th question is left. Label the endocrine glands in figure 7.3. So what is the endocrine glands in the figure 7.3? Everybody? Yes. First, let us start with the A. So A, king of glands. Sorry. Second, B. This is the main gland which is controls all other glands. What is the gland? Everybody?
Pituitary gland.
Okay. Pituitary gland. And the gland which is present here, what is the gland which to called as?
Pineal gland.
Yeah, pineal gland. Next, this one, what is to call? Inside. Yes, there is to called as thyroid gland, and the gland which is present here. Yes, please. Hello, please. Thymus gland. Thymus gland. So please write it. Thymus gland. Clear, everybody? Next, label the parts of neuron. So parts of neuron, we all knows that. First, A part. A part, what is to call? Everybody?
Cell body.
Dendrite. A part. A part is, check it, everybody. Dendrites. B part is what? Everybody?
Cell body.
What is another name of cell body?
Cyton.
Cyton. C body is called as axon. And the D body, what is to call? Everybody?
Nerve
Nerve ending. So nerve ending also we can call something. Yesterday we studied axonal end. So please write axonal end. Okay. So everything you have to learn. Next, match the terms of column A with those of column B. So olfactory receptors, olfactory smell. So what is that? Olfactory receptors. It will be close to nose. Thermoreceptors, temperature receptors, will be
Skin.
in. Gustoreceptors, photoreceptors, eye. Gusto,
Eye.
smell, that's all, tongue. So that is what it is. Okay. So please do it. Next, what is tropic movement and explain with an example. So page number, anybody? Book, you can notice it. Tropic movements. So there will be things. Yes. So you can notice it here. Anything is there, word hurry? Tropic movements, definition, tropism. Of course, I have given you, you can write that also. Or else, book, I am just trying to see that. 107. Okay. Yes. No, it's no. Our proper definition is not given, but they are giving you the examples only. So good thing. So okay. So you all write. So already your notebook, you can see that it will be having it. So what is tropic movement basically? Everybody, what is tropic movement? The directional movement of, yes, you write it. What is tropism, guys? The directional movement of, write it. The directional movement of curvature that occurs in response to whom, guys? Response to external stimuli are called tropic movements. Tropic movements. Tropic movements also we can call as what? Tropic movements also we can say tropism. Tropism. Okay, now explain with an example they are asking. So we are having many examples. So growth responses, you can see that. So growth responses occurs due to the distribution of what? One hormone. Anybody? Growth responses occurs due to the response of what? Auxins. So understand? So the auxins. So if you take here, you can see the shoot will bend always towards to the what? You can notice it here in this picture also. The shoot always will bend towards to the what? Towards to the light. Understand? So that it is an example of what? Positive phototropy. while roots always bends towards to the what? Towards to the, yes please, away from the light. So that is why it is said to be what? Negative phototropism. Understand? So shoot will shows any one example they are asking. So you can say either towards to the stimulus or away from it. So the two different kind of phototropic movements we can say. So shoot, you can notice it here. Shoot responding by bending towards to light, while the roots responding bending away from it. So that is what it is. So away from it is a negative phototropism, and towards to it is to say positive phototropism. So that is what you have to write it. Please write it. Clear, everybody? All of you? Understand, Amma? Explain with one example they are asking. So you can write it, everything. Clear? Here also is there. So plants show tropism in response to other stimuli, as well as the roots of plants always grow downwards, while the shoot usually grows upwards and away from the earth. So this is also, you can write the example. So this upward and downward growth of shoot and root respectively in response to the pull of the earth or gravity is obviously what tropism it is? Everybody? Geotropism. So you can write any one example they are asking. Next, what will happen if intake of iodine in our diet is low? So we all people knows what will happen. Iodine is low. Hormone. So iodine is low, secretion of what will happen? Everybody. Here there is a paragraph, I think. Which one? Where it is there? Yes. So, but actually there, what will happen, everybody? So in case iodine is deficiency, underline it, write it. So this is what exactly you have to write it. So in case iodine is deficient in our diet, what will happen, guys? There is a possibility that we might suffer from what, all of you? Yes, goiter. So one of the symptoms in this disease is a swollen neck. So this is what is the problem when our food does not have a sufficient amount of iodine. So please write it. Okay. So it will reduce the secretion of what hormone? Anybody? Iodine is not there. So it will
Thyroxine.
yeah. So iodine is essential for the synthesis of thyroxine. You please write from there. Here to here you mark it. Iodine is essential for the synthesis of thyroxine. In case of iodine is deficient in our diet, so there is a possibility that we might suffer from the goiter. So that is what you can say. And also, what is the disadvantage? Any other, Mitakshri? There is a most important thing. If there is no iodine, no thyroxine will secrete. If no thyroxine will secrete, some other big problem will come. What is that, anybody? Our metabolism. Yes, because thyroxine will regulate what? All of you.
Carbohydrates.
Thyroxine regulates the carbohydrate, protein, and fat. So in the metabolism in the body, so as to provide the best balance for the growth. Now, if you write only this point, if suppose this is the 2-mark question, if you write only this point, from where to where? From here to here, you all people will be awarded only 1 mark. So that is why you have to write this is also, this point also. If thyroxine is not, say if your food not contains the iodine, so what will happen? It will stop the, it will make the irresponsible, which will reduces the metabolism of protein, carbohydrate, and fat. So with your continued deficiency, so what will happen? Thyroxine glands enlarges and it will be producing, it looks like a swollen neck. So if you write this, both the points only, you'll be awarded 2 marks. Basically, marking scheme will be like that only. So all of you remember, if the thyroxine is not secreted when the iodine is not sufficient in our body. So you have to write it that 2 things. Even the question is here only directly you can see why it is important for us have iodized salt in our diet. So iodine is necessary for the thyroid gland to make thyroxine hormone. So which is responsible for the metabolism of proteins and fats. And also if the deficiency, it will be possible to suffer a simple goiter. So that is what you have to remember. You have to write it. Are you clear, everybody? Yes? All of you? So please make sure you have to make it, this is very, very important one. Okay? Next. What happens when a synapse between two, what happens at the synapse between two neurons? So synapse means, again you have to understand one more thing. What is that immediately? Neurotransmission. Am I right or wrong? So the signals is transforming from end of a one neuron to beginning of a another neuron. So that is what we used to call as synapse, the gap. So what will happen, everybody? Here only the synapse is there. A synapse, similar synapse finally allows delivery of such impulses from neuron to other cells, such as muscle cells or glands. So here is the synapse, you can see, all of it. So these chemicals, you have to write full paragraph it is. So when nerve impulse in the form of electrical signals reaches to the axon ending, what is that axon ending called as? Everybody? Axon ending, we used to call it as? Yes, nerve ending, axon endings, nerve endings. So there is a word we used to call it as neurotransmitter, neuromuscular junction. So that is what we used to call it as neurotransmitters. So these neurotransmitters, what will happen? From here to here, you have to write it. Check it, everybody. This is a very big question only. There is no way you have to write it. So you can see. So what will happen? The sensory cells acquired at the end of the dendritic tip of a nerve cell. So set off a chemical reaction that creates an electrical impulse. This impulse travels from the dendrite to the cell body and then along the axon to its end. At the end of the axon, the electrical signal impulse set off the release of some chemicals. So these chemicals cross the gap or the synapse and start in a similar electrical impulse in a dendrite of the next neuron. So this is a general scheme of how a nervous impulse travel in a body. So this is what you have to write it. So please all of you remember, when a nerve impulse in the form of electrical signals reaches the axon ending, it will release us what, everybody? It will release us the chemicals. So from there you have to write it. Okay. So when the electrical signal reaches to the electrical impulse reaches to the end of axon ending, end of the axon, the electrical impulse set off the release of some chemicals. These chemicals cross the gap or synapse and start a similar electrical impulse in a dendrite of the next neuron. So this is a general scheme of how a nerval impulse travels in the body. So that is how you have to write it, which will generate the another electrical signals towards the dendrite end of the other neuron. So you have to write it fully with the proper explanation. For what you have to write, everybody, first you have to write it. When nerve impulse in the form of electrical signals reaches to the axon ending, it will release a chemicals. What it is, even that chemicals we used to call as something. What is that chemicals called as? Yesterday also I have told you. What is the chemical name called as? All of you. Neurotransmitters. Understanding? So neurotransmitters. So these neurotransmitters will help to exchange the signals. They will diffuse it to the synapse and come in contact with the next, beginning of the another kind of a dendrite, the dendrite of a next neuron, so that the signals will passes from end of a axon to the beginning of a dendrite. So that is what you have to write it. So that answers properly you have to make it. So from the entire thing, line to line, you analyze it and you make it. So at the synapse, what will happen? So the end of axon will releases the what, guys? The end of axon will releases the set of a chemical reaction that will create an electrical impulse. So these impulse travel from the dendrite to the cell body and then along the axon to its end. At the end of the axon, the electrical impulse set off the release of the some chemicals. So these chemicals only called as neurotransmitters. So these chemicals cross the gap or synapse and start a similar electrical impulse in a dendrite of the next neuron. This is still here, you write it. Clear, everybody? All of you? So instead of here, the information, you write the information. The information acquired at the end of the dendritic tip of a nerve cell, set of a. Understand, Mitakshri? So now it will be perfectly matching, you can see. So the information acquired at the end of the dendritic tip of a nerve cell set off the chemical reaction that creates an electrical impulse. So these impulses travel from the dendrite to the cell body to the along the axon to its end. At the end of the axon, the electrical impulses set off the release of some chemicals. These chemicals cross the gap of synapse and start in a similar electrical impulse. We no need to copy anywhere, anybody's. Any answer is not perfectly matched. If you are interested, you can write till here. So it is acceptable. Please modify this into the. So that is what is the answer. Are you clear, Harish? So no need to find any answer anywhere. Exactly you write from the book. 100% you will get full mark for the question. Clear, Amma? Everybody? Yes? Please mark the page number also. Next, what happens at the synapses over? Next question. Answer the following. Which hormone is responsible for the changes noticed in female at puberty? Changes noticed at
Estrogen
female.
hormone.
Everybody? Estrogen.
Estrogen hormone.
So, yeah, estrogen. Estrogen. Changes in puberty is estrogen only. Next, dwarfism results due to the deficiency in which hormone?
Growth
Dwarfism.
hormone.
Yes, growth hormone. Next, blood sugar level rises due to the deficiency of which hormone? Blood sugar. Insulin. Iodine is necessary for the synthesis of which hormone? Everybody?
Thyroid.
Okay. My previous question, please mark that answer. Perfectly, you write it from the book. Okay. Don't copy from the guide answer, this answer, that answer. NCERT, I will show you certain day. I think tomorrow we'll discuss. There is a questions from actually next. How do organisms reproduce? I will show you, for example, line to line how they will take the answer key from the NCERT. Okay, that is what. Next, answer the following. Name the endocrine. Now itself we'll study today itself. Name the endocrine glands associated with the brain. So what is the name the endocrine
Pituitary
glands?
gland.
Everybody?
Pituitary
Associated
gland.
with the brain. Pituitary gland. See, you need to know minimum knowledge. That's what I'm saying. Which gland secretes digestive enzymes as well as hormones? Digestive enzymes. Yes. Pancreas. Pancreatic juice as well as insulin. Name the endocrine gland associated with the kidneys. Yeah. Adrenal gland. Which endocrine gland is present in the males but not in the females? Testes. Females ovaries. Okay. That is what. Thalamasa. Manikandan. Be careful, Radhe. Next, draw the structure of neuron and explain its function. So we all can make it. That's why I said practice this diagram. So it's very important diagram. Nobody has to miss this diagram. It's very, very important one. Of course, sometimes they'll ask this also. Last year also some not board exam, some pre-board exam they asked this diagram. So just have a, but see, this is what neuromuscular junction. Neuromuscular junction, you can draw the diagram which I have given you. I think yesterday madam also explained a neuromuscular junction. I think somebody of you asked me. Am I right? Yes. I don't know either explain or not, but you have to learn it. There is no way. Okay. So please learn it and practice it. Page number mark it. What are the major parts of the brain? Mention the functions of different parts. Don't go with the anything. So what we have? Major parts of the brain, we have only what you have, only you learn. Nothing is required. So what is the major parts? We have forebrain. Next one is what? Midbrain. Next one is hindbrain. Hindbrain, three parts is there: pons and medulla and cerebrum. Each one point you write. Next, pituitary gland, that is not at all it is. So hindbrain main thing. Midbrain only one thing. What is that, guys? Center of what? Midbrain. Center for what? Center of vision it is. So that is the main function of midbrain. Next, what are the major parts of the brain if you take? Forebrain. Forebrain, what is the main part of forebrain? Everybody? Yes, please. Cerebrum. So it will govern the mental abilities. So what is the mental abilities it will govern? All of you. Mental abilities it will govern. What is that? Yes? Thinking, reasoning, memorizing, learning, and sense of responsibility. Sense of responsibility. Next, in forebrain there is a receive sensation of smell and relay the same. Like you can see that. So that is what we used to call as actually olfactory lobes. So that is, it is not there for you. If it is still there means you can learn. But now you see, I'm saying, these kind of questions is very important for us. See, how do you know that we have eaten enough? Understanding? So these kind of things, this is what is the very important question. When you are reading, please remember, Mr. Omar, are you there in meeting? When you are reading, remember, these kind of questions has to be answered by each and every question. In text, middle questions we have. So answer also, mostly they will explain. The sensation of feeling full is because of a center associated with the hunger, which is a separate part of the what? Everybody. Which is separate part of? Yes, forebrain. Understand?
Forebrain.
So that is what you have to remember. So you should write it very carefully. So be very careful. Next to see, can we find out the function of each part? So they are asking down. So they will explain it also. See, many things it is there. So we cannot control these actions easily by thinking about them, even if you want it. Do you have to think about or remember to breathe or digest the food? See, like these questions, you have to make answers. Unless you answer these questions, you cannot be able to do it in the exam. So that's what is a main problem. So mostly they will ask the questions from that questions only. So please learn that everything. So what main brain parts? Forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. So hindbrain 3 are there. The 3 you learn. So nothing is required anything. So other than that. Next, what constitutes the central and peripheral nervous system? How are the components of central nervous system protected? So how are the central nervous system? Central nervous system means CNS. So CNS contains only 2. What is that, guys? Brain and
Brain
spinal
and spinal cord.
Understanding?
Spinal cord.
So spinal cord. So brain is protected by what? Everybody. Brain is protected by. Yes, here it is. See that. Cranium. That is what we used to call that. What is that? Yes.
Skull.
And vertebral column is protected by, sorry. Yeah. The spinal cord is protected by what? Spinal cord.
Vertebral column.
Vertebral column. That's all. Nothing is there. Spinal cord is actually protected by vertebral column. That's all. Please note it. Vertebral column. Next, PNS. Peripheral nervous system is what? Peripheral PNS is having 2 components. What is that, guys? I have given you very
Spinal
clear.
nerve and
Cranial nerves and
PNS,
spinal nerves.
PNS is having 2 things. What is that, everybody? One is voluntary and voluntary and involuntary function. So voluntary peripheral nervous system, that is what cranial nerves from brain and spinal nerves, and involuntary peripheral nervous system, that is what automatic nervous system. So one is voluntary nervous system, second one is autonomic nervous system. So autonomic nervous system only we used to call it as involuntary nervous system. So that clearly I have mentioned you from where to where we used to say that. So for example, if we take voluntary nervous system consists of what, guys? Cranial nerves from brain and spinal nerves from spinal cord. But involuntary peripheral nervous system, what is that present, everybody?
Sympathetic, parasympathetic.
Sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So this system functions like opposite manner. They control the functions of various internal organs, like automatic nervous system it is. So I already given you the clear examples in our classwork. So please write that perfectly. That's enough. So not required anything more than that. Next, mention one function for each of these hormones: thyroxine, insulin, adrenaline, growth hormone, and testosterone. So that is what there is a tabular column here. More than that also we have given. So that all the functions you have to know it. This is from the every year they will ask you the question. So you're having 7 hormones. So they're having functions. So please learn that all the functions. So it's very necessary to know. So thyroxine controls the what? Regulates the metabolism of what? Controls the thyroid gland. It will regulate the metabolism for body growth. That is what we can say: carbohydrates, proteins, and all. Next, what else they are asking? Everybody? What next hormone? Insulin. Insulin, we announce here, regulates the blood sugar level. Next, what else? Adrenaline, growth hormone, testosterone. Adrenaline main, if you heard a word adrenaline, it is the emergency hormone. Am I right or wrong? Everybody? Yes, please. Adrenaline gland. Respond, Ra. So what is the adrenaline gland? Emergency situation. If it is not there, please write it. So emergency situations. So what will happen? It will increases the heartbeat and supply the blood to like various organs, so that more energy will release, so that we can do the action very fastly. Emergency situations. Adrenaline increases the heartbeats, and increases the supply of blood. Okay, yeah. Fight and flight organs. Yes, Mr. Vijay. So that is what it is. Next, growth hormone. So what is the growth hormones, everybody? Growth hormones here is stimulates the growth in all the organs. Next, testosterone. Testosterone, what is that? Here it is not there. So development of secondary sexual organs. Boys. So secondary sexual organs. Sexual characters actually. Characters with puberty in males or females are? Males it is. Okay. Puberty in males. Puberty in males it will be happening. So please write it and learn it everything. See, they have not mentioned here. Please make sure you have to write it every use of it. Next. Name various plant hormones. Also give their psychological effects on plant growth and development. Already we know how many plant hormones we have. Everybody? Yes,
Four.
please. Four.
Four.
So auxins. Next one is what? Zeolins. Next one is cytokinin. Next one is, who is that? Sound disturbance. Obsessive acid. So that are the four, and you have to learn it. So what is the psychological effects on the plant growth and development? This is very important. So please refer it and make sure you have to make. Next, what is reflex actions? Give two examples. Explain a reflex arc. So reflex actions, you can take two examples. Anybody can tell me what is the examples you can make? Yes, please. What are reflex actions? You can write the definitions. Give any two examples. For example, whenever you see a tasty food, what will happen? Your mother is preparing a chicken or mutton in the Sunday. Automatically something will happen in our mind. What will happen? Yes, please. If your mother prepare something, suppose if you are going to see a biryani, so what will happen? Immediately our mouth will start what? If you like your favorite food, Mr. Omar, it will happen mostly.
Mouth will water.
Mouth watering. Understanding? So that is what is example for this. So watering a mouth at the sight of tasty food, and as soon as if you touch any kind of hot objects or like any kind of sharp objects, we people withdraw our hand or our foot. Am I right or wrong? So withdrawal of our hand if it touches hot objects, or withdrawal of our foot when we touch the any sharp objects. These all are examples of reflex actions. So please write it and explain a reflex arc. I have given you two reflex arc examples. What is that, anybody? Two reflex arc examples. One is touching a hot plate. Another one is what, Hari? Reflex arc. Pupil size. So please learn that both. Definitely one at least you have to draw in your exam and you have to explain it. Okay, so that is also. So here write two examples. Two not, you can make 3, 4 also. Right, watering of mouth at the sight of tasty food. Watering of mouth at the sight of tasty food. Watering of mouth at the sight of tasty food, and withdrawal of food when it touches hot objects. Withdrawal of food when it is touches hot objects. Clear, everybody? All of you? Yes, that is what. So you can say next, nervous or hormonal system together performs the function of control and coordination in human beings. Justify the statement. So anybody? Nervous and hormonal system, both together they will do it. I have explained you. We people need both together, then only we can make everything perfectly. So what is that? Anybody? Both nervous and hormonal systems are involved in control and coordination of body parts. Okay, so what is that? Anyone? So for example, nervous coordination in human beings, they'll be performed what? Nerve impulses, So these nerve impulses communicate what, guys? They will communicate the information from receptors to which nervous system? Central nervous system through the which neurons? They will communicate the information from the central nerve to the central nervous system with the help of whom? Sensory neurons. Understanding? So here you can see. So they will pass the information to the CNS with the help of what neurons? Everybody? Sensory neurons. And from the CNS, the information will come to the whom? Effectors. That is what? Muscles and glands with the help of another neurons. What is that neurons called as? Motor neurons. Correct or not? All of you? Please respond. Now, the speed of nervous coordination is very, very high and very activity as well as coordinated in the information. It will send to all the required regions for the action, but it is maybe a voluntary or maybe a involuntary. So, for example, if you have taken, so nervous system is sent all the required regions, we can notice it. So we can see the functioning of endocrine and hormonal system is made up of what actually? Endocrine and hormonal system. Who will be secreting? Glands only. Am I right or wrong? All of you? Please respond. So you can see here, endocrine glands, you can notice it, for example, they will secrete the hormones into the blood, which will transport them to all the parts of the body. So many functions of endocrine system, we have studied that. So which will all are control of nervous system only. So we can say whenever our body is doing any kind of action, so you can say that the together you can notice it, central nervous system and hormonal system together only they are involving in many actions of our bodies. So that is why we can say nervous and hormonal system together will performs the control and coordination in human beings. So you can explain very clearly what will happen, like voluntary actions or involuntary actions, whatever it is, which will be actually information is passed by like what? Hormonal systems and as well as central nervous system. So both together will function only, we people can work properly. So like all the parts, they will transport all the informations for each part of the body. So many functions of endocrine systems, that is what hormonal systems are in control of nervous system. So everything will be controlled by pituitary gland